G'day everyone, Ethan from Baggers Chat here to review our close 10-point victory against the Dockers yesterday afternoon. Final scores, Fremantle 9-9, 63 to Carlton 10-13, 73. So first of all, obviously, you're probably thinking, where's Patto right now? As we touched on in previous episodes, Patto is currently over in the States and he's just flicked through a video for me, so I'll play that right now for you.
Hi Blues fans, Mitch here, right now in Philadelphia, USA. As you can probably guess, Daf is doing the episode on his own just because can't really find the time to actually do the episode, but sending my love. I just saw the scores for Carlton v Fremantle and it's been 2 points. We won by 10 points. Saw the Matt Cottrell goal and of course saw the free kick that we got as well for Matt Kennedy, so I think it was just great to get the first win at Adelaide Oval. And I haven't been able to watch the game, but I watched the last 2 minutes, which is good. So, I'm sending my love, and hopefully I'll try and be on for the preview. If not, I'll be back for the review of the Adelaide game. So, sending my love once again, and as always, up the Baggers.
Good to see Patto is going well over in Philadelphia. It's looking very cold there at the moment. It is actually getting a little bit chillier now in Melbourne the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we don't get that cold, but it's definitely getting colder. But I'll get straight into my initial thoughts of the victory over the Dockers. Wow. It was I don't know how to really sum that game up. It was a mental roller coaster for me. I couldn't record straight after the game because I just needed to sleep on it and really reflect on that game. But I think it was just an absolute grind, and that's how you probably can summarize that game. And another initial thought is, we find other ways to win. We were clearly smashed and dominated in the middle, but we found a way to win the game. It was on their terms for majority of the game, if not all of it, probably bar the last 5 minutes of the game, in my opinion, or that last kind of, I don't know, it might have been 3 minutes or 3 minutes 42 or 4:42, whatever Vossi said in his press conference, where we actually turned the tables on them a little bit. We were dominated in the middle. Credit to Fremantle, they really just stuck at us all game in the middle and just kept going and going and going, despite Tom DeConning having a really, really good game in the ruck. I think he had a ripper game on Luke Jackson, but I think in years past, if we were smashed that badly at the stoppage and in the clearance game, I don't think we would have won the game. And we've obviously added a few strings to our bow the last couple of years. And I think our ability to hold up defensively and not let Freo have a big lead throughout the game was massive for us to pinch it at the end. So, and another point I've got here is, winning the moments. And, without keeping the game close and in touching distance, the moments would have been irrelevant. We wouldn't have been able to come back in that last 5 minutes. Big moments like, Cotter's goal. I thought the biggest moment of the game was Zach Williams pushing through the pack to kick it to Charlie, who obviously that's another big moment, taking a one-handed mark to put us within under a goal, which was a huge moment in the game. And then obviously the way we kind of pushed ourselves forward for the Cottrell goal. We won the clearance, we got it in. I know there was probably a mistake by Josh Tracy of the Dockers, and which hasn't been touched on enough, in my opinion. I thought that would have sewed up the game. And we just kept going in the clearance and stoppage, and then George Stewart obviously got on his boot, which has led to a bit of controversy in terms of whether it was touched or not. But the will to get the ball forward and the will to win is a big key for mine in the way we won the game, and to be able to get the ball to Cotters and Cotters kicking that goal. Obviously, there was a bit of talk the last few weeks where he said that he wasn't a player to watch, but when we've got winning players and players that know how to step up in a big moment, and he is one of them. He's done it on multiple occasions, and he had a ripper game, which I'll touch on later. And finally, obviously, as a topic of discussion, I It's I never believe a result is ever, because of the umpires. Obviously, there's certain games in the past, whether it's the Adelaide goal last year, the Keys one, which left them out of finals. But in the end, you've got 4 quarters of footy to win the game, and 4 quarters to be able to get the job done. And the Dockers weren't able to. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. I think they were probably the better team all day. The game was on their terms, and we just found a way to just, I don't know, just cling together some momentum late. And unfortunately, it was the importance of discipline. In that, obviously, after the Cottrell goal, who was it, Jordan Clark, for the Dockers, obviously unleashed on the umpire. He must have. There's no way you'd be paying a dissent free kick. That in that stage of the game, in the forward 50, to really ice the game, if he did not say anything that really, really hurt the umpire, or was said with malice. So, in terms of that, I'm really pleased that we were able to just keep our focus on the footy, and they lost their heads for the last 2 minutes. So, unfortunately, it's a 4-quarter game, and if you're off for that little bit, it can cost you the game, and it did for Fremantle. But I'll move on to the key players for mine. There's obviously a few key players that I think just really kept us in the game early, and I'll start with Jacob Wiedering. I think he had 9 disposals in the first quarter, which was enormous. He ended up with 21 disposals, 12 marks, and 5 tackles. But I thought his game was phenomenal, and it shows the importance of having him back in the side, and obviously him getting back into form, because obviously he missed the first few weeks of footy, and it shows how good of how much of a professional he is to be able to play in the big moments despite missing 8 weeks of training and footy. So shout out to him. I thought his partner in crime, Brody Kemp, who came back into the side, I thought he was stiff to miss last week. I didn't necessarily agree with the call of dropping him for Marchbank last week. I just think I don't think Kemp was worthy of being dropped. I know it was a tough position for the coaches for selection, because we've got so many players, and our depth is very, very good. But I just think, personally, I think Kemp's been phenomenal every game he's played it, and I'll touch on his game. 21 disposals, 14 marks, and he covered 14 Ks in the game. So he's playing as kind of the second tall in defence. So shout out to him, because he's really developed his game, and he's a huge asset for our defence. Because I think in his obviously TAC days, a lot of guys play in the midfield. He's obviously a highly touted pick, and he's played a bit of forward here and there. Last week he was shifted forward in the VFL, and has the ability to do that. But also he's really worked on his game down back, and I think I'm not going to say lock, but I think the way he's playing now, I think he stays in the 22 for mine for the next few weeks for sure, and was absolutely superb. I'll move on to the kind of other side of the ground. For me, I thought it was a tough battle for our forwards. I just think the Dockers and the way they play, it's so hard to get opportunities at goal, and we still found 23 opportunities in a sense. So that's a credit to our whole team's will to get forward, and will to win the game, as I touched on before. Despite the Dockers really held up defensively, and I spoke on it in our preview. They've been winning games through their defence, and credit to them. They're sticking by it. They're sticking. It's an 18-man defence. They're very defensive. They always get an extra few numbers back in our forward 50. They're doing it all day, and it was just really. I just found every goal out of our 10 goals we kicked were really tough, and we just had to find a way to get there, and it was really tough. But one guy in particular who I thought stepped up massively was the 2-time Coleman medalist, and Charlie Curnow. I thought their defence held up really well. I think they had Draper on him, who I think he's a third gamer or fourth gamer. He's a very young player. I thought he played exceptionally well on a player like Charlie. He's so hard to defend. He's up in the air, can play on the ground. He's quick, he's strong, and he finishes well. But I thought his game was phenomenal, and kicking 3 in a game that was so defensive, because the Dockers just kept finding a way to just nullify our offense and the way we wanted to move the ball. So Charlie ended up with 12 disposals, 12 marks, 3 goals, and as I touched on before, his one-handed mark in the last 3 minutes of the game just tells me all I need to know about Charlie Curnow, and he knows the big moment, and he probably almost getting held in a one-on-one. He plucks out the arm from the Zach Williams kick and takes a grab, goes back, kicks the goal, and that's just really what you want to see, and he was superb. For mine, Matt Cottrell is my next name I'm going to be focusing on. Last but not least, I thought that was his best game of this season in terms of impact with ball in hand. As I touched on before, he's such a crucial piece to the puzzle for us in 2024, and I feel like he's that perfect role player. But yesterday he just stepped up massively. I thought his first goal was big as well. I think that was the free kick that Luke Ryan thought it was a free kick, and it was he just got it on the run, kicked the goals. When you need to take the moments, doesn't matter if it's in the last quarter, which he did as well. But it doesn't matter in the first half. You got to take your moments, especially in a game like that, which it was fine margins to whoever won and lost that game. And he had a good game: 13 disposals, 2 goals, 4 tackles, 5 marks. And I think obviously he was in the top 5 on the ground for the meters. I think he had 14 Ks or 15 Ks, close to. I think Ollie Hollands led the game in running meters. So yeah, but Cotter's the final goal to be able to just go, yeah, I need to put myself in a position in front of my opponent to take that mark. Obviously, you can say it's touch, you can not say it's touch, but in this scheme of things, he was in front of his opponent, took the mark and kicked the goal. So credit to Cotters. He's an incredibly important player for our team, and is going to be important for us heading into the rest of the season. So I'm just going to move into my bagger of the game, my 3-2-1 votes. I'll get Patto's votes and I'll chuck them up as well. He hasn't really watched much of the game, as he touched on, so I'd imagine he'd watch the game. But I'll be going into my 3-2-1. I'll start off with 1 vote. And for me, so there's a few key names. You could say, you got George Hewitt. I thought he played well. He really tried hard. TDK. I'm going to say Tom De Koning as my 1 vote, and with 2 votes, I'm going to say Charlie Curnow. I thought he was, really, really good, as I touched on really recently. I thought he, stepped up, kicked 3 big goals in the second half, and really just kept us within touching distance. And then we finally, hit the trigger and we won the game. So that was huge for us. And 3 votes. There's, the few of the names I touched on earlier, Weeder and Kemp, who definitely probably deserve votes, to be honest with you. I did say Teddy Carr. I just think he was really important in moments of the game, and he's just grown as a player. So obviously he got the 1. 2 for me was Charlie Curnow, just in terms of I think he was our best forward and really broke open the game. It easily could have been Wiedering with the 3, but I'm just going to say Matt Cottrell and his impact. Obviously, we base our votes on impact. So my bagger of the game is Matt Cottrell. I thought obviously he was the match winner. I'm not focusing just on that, but I thought as a whole in the 4 quarters, I thought he was superb. And his impact, we base the baggers of the game on impact, and he was my most impactful player on the ground. So credit to Cotters. He's my best on ground. Let me know who your best on ground is, your 3-2-1 in the comments. I'll wrap it up now. Obviously, Patto, it will still be in the States for the preview, so I'll be back on for the preview. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We'll be posting stuff on social media throughout the week, and obviously today I'll post it. I'm filming this Sunday morning, and I'll edit it up and post it straight up. So thanks for your support over the last few videos. Keep watching, keep engaging with our content, and we'll see you next week. And always, up the baggers.